Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing readings. We're doing devil readings. Pick a devil. Here's why. Because we recently passed 666 subscribers. Thank you. It stayed 666 for a long time, and I have a feeling like some of us wanted it to because it was fun, and then some of us wanted it not to, and so they would leave so that it would go down so that I wouldn't be stuck with 666. But honestly, I enjoyed it. It was a hoot. But anyway, thank you for us moving on from it, and to celebrate, we're doing a devil reading session. I knew I did one of these before, and I looked and it was like 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, time. Let's do another one. Let's do a devil reading. Now, of course, the devil in the tarot is not, the whole evil thing. What it is something that's against your best interests, where you may feel trapped, but you're not really. So something that's always a good idea to move away from once you realize it. So that's what these readings are going to be. Moving away from the devil, whatever the devil is for you in these particular situations, as we have with the subscribers. I'm so grateful, but I'm really happy we had a good time with that because it was lots of fun. So we have 4 cards, which are the devil cards from various tarot sets. We have the devil from the Lapis Tarot. We have the devil from the Crystal Unicorns Tarot. We have the devil from the Phantom Wise Tarot, and we have the devil from the Steampunk Tarot. So feel into the cards. One of these or more will have a reading for you about something that is not in your best interest, that you feel kind of trapped by, but that it is time to move on from, and that you're not as trapped as you think. And I'm going to be using the Black Walnut runes it's the Elderfruth Arc on Black Walnut. So I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the readings. Bye! Hello to all of you who chose the devil from the Lapis Tarot. So let's move this over. It's the reason we're a bit further back than usual is because I'm using the Black Walnut, and they're really big runes. They're really long. I got the long stave ones because they're fun. So let's get started with a card. The card is that. Let's get started with the runes and find out what it is that you have in your life that is perhaps not in your best interest, and it is time to move away from it. So let's get some runes down. Yeah, see, now that is perfect. That's exactly the right size it needed to be. I couldn't have done with any smaller amount of space. I'm going to lay out the entire thing, and then we're going to go from there. I do have a few rune sets that are... See, according to Tacitus, it's the wood from a fruit or nut-bearing tree. And so I realized several years ago that I didn't have any of those, and so I looked to get some of those. So now I have the Black Walnut runes, and I also have the Oak runes, which technically are that because of acorns. And there we go. Okay, they're skinny, but they're big, but they're skinny. So now I have room for my hand. Okay, central issue for you, card number 1, people, Lapis Tarot people, is Yira, which is the rune of the harvest and also time. And I think that what this is about is something that you sort of put yourself in, and you sort of hitched yourself to. It's like so much space. Hitched yourself to so that you could take care of something that needed to be done. So what we have leading up to this, and I'm going to talk about Yira in a second, is Nauthis, which is the rune of need. So this is why you did it. It's kind of like a survival kind of thing. It's like when you do things for the sake of survival, but that maybe aren't in your best interest in general, but you had to do it, and it got you through it, and here you are at this point where you have gotten through it. So Yira is the rune of the harvest and also time. It's the fruits of your labors. It's, now you have the time of abundance. It's also completion. So right now you're in that situation, and leading up to this with Nauthis, you were tending to your needs. You did what you had to do to take care of your needs, but now you're in a situation where you've done all of what you needed to do, and you don't have to do these things anymore, and you don't have to be hitched up to this anymore. And so now it's probably a good time to remember that you're not trapped by this, and that you can now move forward from it. So what's helping you? What's helping you is A, completion, B, make some new goals, plans, decisions and agreements. So we have Gabo, which is the rune of the gift. The gift is always an exchange. This has to do with agreements, decisions, goals, and plans, as I just said. Sometimes it has to do with a one-on-one interaction. So that may also be something that needs to happen at this point. Maybe the person that you've hitched yourself to for this, or maybe the person with whom you made the arrangements that were probably not in your best interest, but got you through this, basically. But now that you don't need to get through this, you can go back to that communication, that one-on-one situation, and say, hey, okay, I'm done. We're done. But anyway, basically, but it's also a completion. So this is completion, this is completion. So there was a completion that happened. And that is, the fact of that is one of the main things that helps you. Another thing is basically to revisit the original agreement and basically make the changes that, make some new agreements and make some new decisions and goals and plans that can carry you forward past this, where you don't need to drag this along. But yeah, also definitely make those plans, like start making new plans, because you don't have to be focused on this anymore. What isn't going to help is we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. And this has to do with active creation. So there is a sense of, there's some scaffolding that got set up basically while you were getting through all of this, while you were tending to these needs and while you were dealing with what you were dealing with. And this has basically created like a lattice work or a matrix or a scaffolding that's sort of underlying everything. And you are loath to dismantle it because it took a lot to put it up. But now that you don't need it anymore, it just becomes like this. It's like, this is no longer in your best interest, if it ever was. And it's time to move on from it. You're not trapped by it, but you're going to feel trapped by it because of all the time you invested and all the effort that you invested and all of everything you invested in it. But now it is no longer going to help you. It was really not going to help you now that you've completed what you've completed. And you're entering into more of a time of abundance as well, and seeing the fruits of your labors, and you can just move forward. It is time. So if you start to feel like, okay, I don't want to dismantle this, bring yourself back up to where you have, it's like, I completed what I needed it for. I don't need it anymore, and it will just drag me down if I keep it. So let's, again, make some new plans and move forward. The central rune of the entire thing, and what's pinning the reading, the next rune on the path line, is Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. This has to do with, solace and sanctuary. But reversed, I usually read it these three ways. I say it's letting go of something that no longer serves you, which is exactly what we're talking about. It has to do with stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is also exactly what we're talking about, because, you've built this up for a while and you're used to it, but it's not going to be helping you. And also finding home within, so that wherever you move forward, because you're not going to have new scaffolding already set up there, you're going to have to bring that with you. So it's basically carrying a sense of home with you wherever you go. So that's basically your next step. What is going to help you is to be patient with this and take it step by step, because this is something new that you're doing. You were in this zone for a long time, and now you're bringing yourself over to where you're letting go of that because it doesn't serve you anymore, and you are stepping outside of what became a comfort zone, even though it wasn't very comfortable, but it was like habit. So again, what is helping you? We have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, moving between worlds, which is like an integration kind of thing. Like, you don't have to do this all at once, but you do have to do it. So, and as Blum says about this rune, the outcome may not be immediate, but it is certain, which I mangled. The outcome may not be immediate, but it is certain. So take your time with this. You don't have to do it right away, but you do have to do it. And, take it step by step. Be patient with yourself, be patient with the process, and move between worlds. You're integrating, your new reality, which is where you don't need this anymore. What isn't going to help you is just that stubbornness of, the momentum, and also just the fact that you had to build it like this, and it's like the scaffolding is hanging on, and you sort of don't feel like moving in a way that you're not used to moving, but you have to, because it's just like, otherwise you're stuck, because this is you being stuck. So we have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and stubbornness. Stubbornness in terms of resistance. So there is a sense, even though you are needing to move on and you're done, that you're used to this. So it's like there's a resistance to moving forward from it. If that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to it's like, I'm not doing this all at once. I'm not just throwing everything out the window. I'm not, going out into air. Well, you are going out into air, but you're basically, you're not going out completely unprotected or anything. Like you're not going out to nothing. You are slowly going to build your new scaffolding, what is going to be much more strong for you and what is going to be much better for you and healthier for you, and you're leaving this behind. But you're going to take your time. You're not going to just dump it all at once, because that would be stressful and traumatic. Take your time. Take your time to do this. Your next step on the path line, we have Vunyo, which is the rune of joy. I hardly need to say anything after that, but I'm just going to keep going on this, basically, because once you really, really let go of all of this, you're going to feel so much lighter, you're going to feel so much better, you're going to feel so much more joyous and joyful, you're going to feel happy. What is going to help you at this point is reconnect with those that you can face with joy and who face you with joy. So we have Manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. It's basically your note in the song where you have a sense of belonging, the best kind of belonging, and that's what you're looking for. So as you become happier moving forward, having let go of all of that, connect with the people who mean the most to you, not people who were... Well, maybe if there were anybody that you actually trust and care about from this, sure. But if it's basically just like we're leaving this behind, connect with the people who are going to make you feel that sense of belonging that you've always wanted, not that sense of obligation that these people or this situation did. What isn't going to help you is we have Pertho, which is the rune of the lot box. Once again, it's just that human resistance to change, really, that's the problem. Because like here, okay, well, I put all this effort into it, so I don't want to take it down. Here it's like I'm used to this, I don't want to change what I'm used to. And here it's basically, this is something new, I'm not ready for it. But so you're afraid of like what the new world will reveal to you, because you're not ready for it, because you've been so clenched up and stuck in what was going on before. But this is just a fear. It's Pertho. It's the rune of the lot box. It's surprises and fate. So it's not. It's a very positive rune in a negative spot. That means a worry about that. So it's like what will be revealed, but also it's like something new. My fate. Because when it was in the hands of this, it was like, you didn't have to worry about it. Like even though this was incredibly uncomfortable and not good for you and not in your best interest, there was an element of a lot of it was out of your hands. So that was like, you didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to worry about it. You just had to be it. But now you're free. And with that comes like all these things that you now have to be in charge of, which is fantastic. But it can feel like, oh my gosh, it's too much on me. But it's what you want. So if that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to where you are connecting with those that you love and trust, people who can face you in joy and who can actually like be compassionate and actually listen to you and make you feel that you belong. And you can actually focus on, I am really happy right now. I'm extremely happy having let go of all of that. Your next step on the path line and the last rune of this spread is Berkana reversed. You are going to be starting absolutely new, and you're going to be starting new from deep within. We have Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. It has to do with beginnings and birth. Reversed on the path line, it's inner. So you are really incubating a new you at this point. You're free, and you're coming out of this, and you're free, and you've let go of the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. And you get to this when you're happy, but now you can finally start to grow and develop and become you more than you were before. The you that you could be without all of that. So it's really, really good. You're starting really, really deep. It's like a deep integration, like almost an incubation kind of thing that's starting, but it's starting. So it's fantastic. So that, card number 1, people, is your devil reading for what it is time to walk away from, basically. So I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 2, people. Devil from the Crystal Unicorns set. I'm going to move this over here. First one I moved over to the normal spot when I don't normally have as much room. And then I built everything and it was like half the thing was blank. So I'm going to actually do it this way. I'm actually going to put the unicorn devil right here, and we're going to build from here, and then it'll be a little bit more centered. So let's get started with some runes from the Black Walnut runes. Ooh, that's interesting. This is like, we're doing like a Senku now, or like a, not Senku, what am I talking about? We're doing like a Sonic Crown, where we're using the last line of the previous verse to start the second one, which is funny, because we ended with that one in the previous reading. That is definitely reversed. My oak runes, there's no difference. My oak runes, they managed to get that little slash right in the middle. And so as a result, there is no reversal on the oak rune version of Nauthi's, but that's okay. There is on this one. Black walnut runes. Why am I doing the lower lines? Usually this is unusual for me. Usually I lay the upper lines before the lower lines, which says to me that this has probably got some, see, that's nice and more centered. That's good. There's probably the lower lines on this. What isn't helping you is probably very tempting and very substantial. So we'll probably be spending more time on that in this reading in particular. Right, central issue for you, card number 2, people, with the Crystal Unicorn's Devil, is Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with beginnings and birth. It's reversed on the path line, which I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, there may be a beginning that you're backburnering. There may be something that you started, probably to do with this, probably to do with the devil that you've sort of hitched yourself to, where you feel like this is not in my best interest, but I feel like I'm trapped. You're not trapped. You're never trapped. You're never even remotely as trapped as you feel like you are. Now, this card, generally the Crystal Unicorn's Tarot is based on the Smith Waite, but it's the one thing they didn't do with this one is they didn't make the chains look really loose. But the chains are loose. These unicorns could pull their heads out at any time. Trust me. So anyway, so first of all, there may be a beginning that you want to be backburnering. You're like, I think I want to back out of this. And that would definitely have to do with whatever you've sort of hitched yourself to, where you feel like, okay, this isn't in my best interest. I thought it was a good idea at the time, but I need to get away from it. And so that's where you're sort of focused. But also, Berkana reversed, reversals on the path line especially, and on the upper line, generally mean inner. So there is a sense of, it's almost like you had to do this in order to realize that's not who you wanted to be. So you've done it, you've done this, but now you're like, I think I'm not that, and I think I want to become the me that I want to become, and then the me that is the true me that is to become. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to get my head out of these chains. What led up to this is we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. This has to do with active creation. So it looks to me like there was something, I think it's like something that you were putting together in your life, and you wanted it to be a specific shape kind of thing. Like you wanted, like, if I'm going to be this, then I need this, 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 and this. Even if this, 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 and this are not good for you, and this, 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 and this actually are going away from who you actually are here to be. So maybe even the thing that you want to be is something that you might want to modify into something that is more who you are. But it took doing this to realize this. So you've sort of shaped this by hitching yourself to whatever this is that wasn't in your best interest. And now you're in a situation where you're like, I think I made a mistake, and I'm sure I made a mistake, and I'm just going to back out of this at this point. I think I'm just going to like say no thank you, pull my head out of the chains, and start to birth my new self, who is actually truer to who I am. What is going to help you at this stage? We have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice is the rune of standstill, and the stillness through which clarity comes. So you know this now. You had to do this in order to know this, but now you know this. You're going to be like, okay, give myself a second, give myself some space to think, but not even just to think, because thinking was what got you into this without checking with your heart first. To just let the clarity come through, like meditation or just walking in nature or whatever it is, listening to music, whatever it is that helps the clarity come through because you're still, do that. So, because it's the stillness through which this clarity is going to come, where you're going to be like, okay, what am I going to do? What are the things I'm going to do? What isn't going to help is we have Kaunaz, which is the rune of the torch or the fire, reversed. It has to do with because the torch or the fire, it has to do with the expansion and something that is opening out and something that becomes like from a spark to a blaze. But reversed, it's like honing a focus and also reducing of options. You may feel like you've reduced your options to a point where you can't do this. You may feel trapped because that's what this makes you feel, but you're not. You're never as trapped as you think you are. So you may feel, though, that you did this and that you're trapped by it and that there's nothing you can do about it and that you don't have any options and you have to just do this. That's not the case. That's not true. So that's not going to help you. If that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pretend that I'm just going to be still for a minute and just be still and let the clarity come through about what to do with this. And the clarity will come through for you. And you're going to start to feel the stirrings of who you actually are starting to sprout. Your next rune on the path line and the rune that pins the entire reading, the most essential thing that you have to do on your path is Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's is the rune of need. This has to do, well, Nauthi's always means tend your needs, but when it's reversed, it means drop everything and tend your needs. This is an emergency. Absolutely, this is not good for you. So drop everything, and with what you got from when you were still and got the clarity coming through, you're going to use that to like, you know what you need to do at this point. You know what you need to fix. You know what you need to, you know exactly the link that you need to break to get out of these chains, or at least you know where the key is. The other thing this is tending to your inner needs, because reversals on the path line often mean inner, as I just said. So basically make sure that you're taking care of your inner needs, because you had sort of backburnered that a bit when you were making this decision. You're like, okay, but I don't need to listen to that because this is all of it and I'm thinking about it. And so this is everything I need. It's like you don't, because your heart's going to tell you something different. So look at your inner needs, your inner mental needs, your inner psychological needs, your inner spiritual needs, your inner emotional needs. Pay attention to that. But mostly just drop everything and deal with the emergency that this is, because you have to get out of there. What is going to help you? We have Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. It's your entire field of vision illuminated, and this leads from Isa, the clarity that you got when you were still. So that is just going to keep flowing in, and it's going to be more and more and more. It's going to be like as gross as earth kind of thing, where it's going to be like you're going to see so clearly, even the big picture you're going to see so clearly, but you're going to see so clearly what you need to do, and also where you stand with things. So everything is going to be very, very clear for you. So it's not going to be really difficult to see what needs your immediate attention to fix this emergency, but you're going to be able to see that. What isn't going to help you is we have Pertho reversed. Pertho's the rune of the lot box. This has to do with surprises and fate. Reversed on the lower line, you're afraid of something unpleasant being revealed. The thing about Pertho is whatever was in the lot box was already in the lot box, so it's something that was always there, but it's just been revealed to you. Kind of like, you hitch yourself to this and then you realize, wait a minute, that was not good and I should have known better. Okay, so you learn. That's okay. You've learned, and that's why you're doing this now. So yeah, it's just worries about, first of all, I didn't realize this and now I've realized this and now this is putting a crimp in my affairs. But it's to save your life. So, I mean, figuratively, probably, hopefully not literally, but if it is literally, then even get the heck on that. So you're a bit worried about what is being revealed. You're a bit worried about, and you're also worried about the surprise that this was to you, because this was a hugely negative, unpleasant surprise for you once you hitched yourself to it and you're just like, wait a minute, this was a mistake. So that's upsetting as well. You've got the chagrin to deal with. But anyway, if that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to this. It's like, no, everything is clear to me right now. Really, really clear. Everything is clear. I know what to do. I know exactly what I need to do, and then focus on getting that done. Your next step on the path line is Fehu, which is the rune of wealth and worth. It's cattle. It's not money yet. It doesn't become money until the younger Futh arc. So it's cattle. So this is the wealth that you tend. As long as you are taking care of it, as long as you take care of it, always makes your life feel rich and of worth. So make sure that you're working on that. You've fixed the emergencies during this middle step. That's fixed. Now you're going to rebuild and start rebuilding your world and your path forward by focusing on what really matters to you, on what really, really gives your life worth. Because this didn't, but this will. Because you know now, you're like, okay, I'm building this now with what's important to me, not with what I just think my life should look like. Because you forgot to take into account what all the other levels besides appearance kind of thing, which is why this got in. But and again, you had to do this because otherwise you would never have known. So now that you're done tending to the emergencies, you can do that. You can actually say, okay, now let's build this life properly. Let's build around us what really has worth to us. What is going to help you? We have Tivaz, which is Tears rune. Tyr's the warrior god, but he's not really so much about warrioring as he is about taking care of things that need to be taken care of. He's the king, so he basically is all about balance and tending to duties and responsibilities and driving forward and doing the right thing and all that good stuff. So you are definitely going to benefit with the backing of the clarity that you got and the enlightenment that you got, like the full illumination that you got. And then you're going to take that and go, okay, I'm driving forward to do this. This is really important. I'm making this my quest. But also you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of around you. And that's how you're going to build this life around you that is of worth, that is good for you. Not like, bran muffins, but like good for you, like nourishing in a really, really good way. Not that there's anything wrong with bran muffins, but you know what I mean. It's not good for you, but awful. It's good for you, but good. Bran muffins can be really good. Just depends on the bran muffin. Moving swiftly onward, what is not going to help you? We have Manas, which is the rune of humanity and your part in it. It's just a sense of, people saw me do this and they were like, yay, go do that and good for you. And so now I have to face them and say, hey, I made a mistake and I'm not doing that anymore. And there's this sense of, it's like there's a bit of shame of, it feels like there would be shame, although the people who actually care about you would be happy for you. But it's just this sense of like, now I have to be, what are people going to say? I put so much into this and now I'm leaving it. Like they're going to call me a quitter. They're going to call me like unreliable or whatever. And it's like, oh, you're not going to go ahead with this thing. If anybody actually says that to you, then you can just leave them with this because obviously they like that more than they like you. Because those people who actually really care about you will see you doing this and go, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. And they probably had some misgivings when you were doing this, but they were like, okay, well, maybe they know. Anyway, but it's just this worry at this point, like, what are people going to think of me doing this? Please don't let that drag you down. Look how good this feels. And you're going to be taking care of things and making sure everything is really good. And you're going to be shining because you're going to feel better. So yeah, leave that where it is. By the end of this reading, the last rune in the set, last rune in the spread, and the outcome of this reading is we have Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. Reversed on the path line, it has to do, I usually read it 3 ways. First of all, you're letting go of things that no longer serve you. You are stepping outside of your comfort zone, but in a good way this time, because you're actually adding things that are really, really good for you. And you're finding home within. So even while you don't have things built around you yet, you're still feeling comfortable because you're really following spirit in a much better way than you were before. So that is your reading for the devil reading and leaving behind things that need to be left behind. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3 people. So those of you who chose the devil card from the Phantom Wise Tarot, we're going to do that now. I'm just going to move it over here. The first reading I did in this set, I moved it all the way over where it normally goes because I had to make room. But then because these are big runes but skinny, it only took up like this much. So there's a huge gap on the side. So anyway, let's see what your devil is all about. Alrighty. Yeah, okay. Alrighty. I get it. I'm going to lay down the entire reading and then I'm going to read from there. But I'm seeing the picture of what this is. And I'm glad you're getting out of there. I don't blame you, but I mean, I don't anyway. I wouldn't blame you because we all go through this. We all have our devils that we have hitched ourselves to thinking we were doing the right thing and then had to back out of that and go, nope, not for me. So no judgment. Just let's help each other move on from this. See, look, that's perfectly centered. Okay. Your central issue starting this reading is Algi's reversed. Algi's is the rune of protection and support. It's the elk, otherwise known as the moose. Boop. And it's basically saying to me that, okay, I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, there's a sense where you haven't felt as supported as you'd like to, and also a sense that you are now having to step up and basically be your own support and your own protection. What led up to this? We have Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. This is full illumination. This is your entire field of vision illuminated. This is revelations. This is the unignorable truth that has come to light. And what I think happened was, because this guy is like by himself and blocking your light. So probably there was this sense that you sort of thought, okay, well, I have to have support. I have to have somebody who can be there for me, and maybe this person can be there for me. But he wasn't. He was blocking out your light, or whoever this was, or whatever this was that you hitched yourself to. And it's like, you realized this. It's like, if that's what I'm going to be hitching myself to, then I don't need that kind of support, because that's not support. So you realized this, and now you're like, I'm done. I'm not doing this with this light blocking person thing anymore. So situation. So now you're in a situation where you're like, I'm worried about being alone, and I'm worried about being unsupported and unprotected, but I know that I can protect myself and support myself way better than whatever this was. So that's where you're at. What are we going to do about this? How are we going to get help for this? So the first thing that's going to help you is we have Tivaz reversed. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god. I'm going to read this a few ways. He's not all about war. He's about taking care of things that need to be taken care of. He's about finding balance. He's about tending to duties and responsibilities. It is reversed in the upper line, so this will mean a couple things. First of all, reversals in the upper line tend to mean inner. So we have taking care of your inner duties and your inner responsibilities, and making it a quest to drive forward and take care of what you need to take care of for yourself. Take care of your duties to yourself and your responsibilities to yourself. But also, you can do this peacefully. You don't have to do this with any sort of conflict. You can just walk away. And that's one of the things, it's not showing in this card, but it kind of is, because there's so much, like, you can walk around him out the door. So most of the devil cards in everything from the Smith-Waite deck to, many versions of it, they show that the chains on the people are loose. The people may feel trapped, but they're not really. And you can go around him. You can probably go around him on this side. I don't see a hand. He can't even stop you on this side, even though there's smoke. So just go around that guy. So, but anyway, you have all you need to get out of there. So just get out of there. You only have responsibility to yourself in this. Just get the heck out of there. You saw the light, and so you can do that. So pick up and do that. What isn't going to help you is we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. This has to do with beginnings and birth. It is reversed on the lower line. You are apprehensive about starting fresh. You feel like you're not ready. You feel like, you see this, like, presumably, I don't remember, but some people do actually. When you're born, suddenly there's all this light, and it's like very traumatic. So, but it's kind of like that, because you've seen the light and you're like, wow. Because you're new at this, and I think you probably did this because you thought you always needed some other to be your support, whether it's a person or a situation or a system, and you need to get away from this. So you're like, I don't know how to do this by myself. You do, says Algi's reversed. You're perfectly capable of this. So it's just going to be a matter of taking charge of your duties and responsibilities and taking care of that for yourself. So it is scary, and you're going to be scared, and you're going to feel like you're not ready, and you're going to feel like you don't want to start something new. But it's your life. So it's like every moment you're starting something new. And so let's start something new, which is better for you. And so bring yourself back up to, it's like, what do I need to do? What needs doing in my life that will start to bring balance back and help me to support myself? Your next step on the path line and the middle rune of the entire reading, what pins the entire reading, so one of the most important things to do, and this was the middle rune in the previous session, the previous set as well that I just did, is Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's is the rune of need, and it's basically, it goes really well with this, because, okay, I'm going to read it a couple ways. Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's always means tend your needs, but when it's reversed, it means drop everything and tend your needs. This is an emergency. And it is, because you need to take care of everything that you were relying on this to take care of before that wasn't, and that was just making things really bad for you. So now you're just going to basically look and triage. You're going to say, okay, what needs to be done that's an emergency? Like, what do I need to do right away, immediately? So that, first of all. But second of all, you're looking at your inner needs, same as Tiva's reversed was, where you were looking at what needs to be done for yourself inwardly as well as just for you. In this, you're like, let's take care of our inner needs, make sure that our inner needs are taken care of. It's not just, food and water and shelter, which it is very much, but it's also, once you've taken care of the basics, what makes me feel fulfilled, what makes me feel like I belong, all these really important things. So take care of those. Give yourself things that give you joy. I don't see Funyo here, but still, same thing. Joy is always implied. What will help you here is we have Kaunaz, which is the rune of the torch or the fire. It has to do with something that starts small like an ember and goes into a blaze. So just basically take it a little to start with and build on that. So it's going to be a matter of letting yourself expand naturally. So you're expanding your focus naturally. You're starting with the most urgent thing that needs to be done. Get that going. And it's like, okay, that I'm good with. Let's move on to the next thing that's the most urgent thing. And then the next thing until you're taking in everything that you need to be taken care of. And again, don't have to do this all at once, but you do have to be doing it all. So it's like chores. You don't have to do all the chores in the same hour. You would never be able to fit them. You can spread them out. You can do one day and another one day in the week, things. So what will not help you in this is that we have a Gabo, which is the rune of the gift. Gift is always an exchange. It has to do with agreements, decisions, goals, and plans, but really I'm seeing this very much as obligations. You're still thinking about this because, when this revelation happened that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get out of this, you were worried about starting something new, and then you're worried about these obligations. You may be worried about the obligations of things you have to do, which is also an issue. Like there's too much, which is why you're going to do it in a naturally expanding way. But there is also the sense of obligations of, I made this, am I terrible for going back on this? You are not, because it was to save your life, hopefully only figuratively, but if it was literally, then even more reason. And I'm so sorry you had to do that, but, there we go. So worries about what you need to do, and also worries about, leaving behind obligations that were not helping you. Bring yourself back up to where you're just like, I am taking these very naturally. I am taking these, in a slow expansion where I'm doing what I need to do, getting good at that, and then I'm expanding that, and until my field of vision is expanded to the point where I'm taking in everything that I need to take care of in my life so my needs are tended to. Your next step on the path line, we have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, moving between worlds. This is after you've taken care of what really needs to be done, like immediately, that's when you have the long road. It's not a bad long road. It's a good long road because it's yours. And you're basically taking it one step at a time carefully. You are not pushing the river. You are integrating what you had before with what you are doing now. And again, it's all going to be very natural. It's going to be very good progression. And you're just being patient with yourself, with the process, with all of it. But it's like a patient thing. What is going to help you? We have Manas reversed. Manas is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. Reversed, it's inner. So it's basically you are tuning out the din of humanity. All these people are like, you got to do this, you got to do that. You don't want to do it this way, you want to do it that way. No, what you need to do at this point is listen to you, because it's your path now. You are not doing this for or with anybody else that is trying to drag you down from it. So you're going to basically, and here's me saying exactly that. No, you don't want to do that. You want to do this. Like, okay. So even if what I'm saying isn't good for you, like, take that into account. Like, okay, you know what? No, I'm going to do my own thing. It's like, good. It's like that joke. It's like, don't forget to do an anarchy today. It's like, you can't tell me what to do. It's like, that's the spirit. So anyway, this is where you're going to tune out the din and you're going to march to your own drummer. You're going to dance to your own piper. And you're just basically going to listen to yourself, because the one person that you have to be comfortable with a sense of belonging with in this world, in this life, is you. So make that work first. Be comfortable with you. It's very important. So that's basically what's going to help you with this, is every step you take, basically make sure that you are clearing it with yourself. And then you're like, okay, I'm good with this. Next step. What isn't going to help you is we have, and this is all tied to this, we have Lagos reversed, which is the rune of emotion, intuition, heart. It's water. So it's emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. It's reversed on the lower line. So I'm seeing this as some unpleasant emotions that are going to be coming up. Incorporate that, because that's part of it. Like dealing with letting go of this, the whole worries about starting again, the whole worries about obligations, and the worries about, the things that you weren't letting yourself feel when you were here are going to start to come up. This is why you're taking this step by step. This is why you're taking it slow. And this is why you're working with yourself to make sure that you're taking the right next step and taking your time with this, integrating it, because these things are going to come up. I've had situations, I think I may have told this story before, like I worked at a store. I worked at stores for a while back in the day. And it's harrowing, and you have to turn off so much just so you can survive. And the week after I quit that store job to do something good, it wasn't always all bad, but there's an element of it is just like soul sucking. I started to feel things again. Like I'd be watching TV and a commercial would come on and I'd be crying about the commercial. Like it's going to come up, because if you had to turn it off to survive, it starts to come back once you're taking your time and being patient and just like starting to give yourself the time. So that may worry you, but if that starts to be the case, just bring yourself back up to where you are working with yourself on this. And if that's happening, you're getting these unpleasant emotions and you're feeling like things are getting out of hand and choppy, you're going to be like, okay, this is why I'm taking this step by step. You do that. Law. So that's definitely what's going to help you at that point. Just be patient. And if you're having trouble being patient, and if there's emotions surging up, tune out the din even more and just say, like, it's just you and me, and we're going to get through this. By the end of this rune spread, the outcome rune here is Fehu reversed. Fehu is the rune of wealth and worth. This has to do with, it's the wealth that you tend. It's cattle, so it's not money. It's whatever it is that, as long as you take care of it, gives your life a sense of wealth and worth. And it's reversed on the path line. So this is inner wealth, inner worth. So confidence, self-esteem, and that's what you're going for, because you needed that to begin with. You wouldn't have done this if you'd had the self-esteem that you are building now. And so now you're at this point where you're just like, no, I am able to stand up and support myself, and I am confident in my ability to do that, because I've taken myself this far. I've taken care of myself. I can support myself. I can protect myself in the world, and I'm worth it. And you are. Never doubt it. So that, card number 3, people, is your devil reading for what you need to be walking away from and how to get there. I'm just making up new subtitles for this reading every reading. But basically, it's like, the things that you thought you were trapped with that you're not, and let's just like get those chains off and move forward. And here you are. So well done. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 4, people. The Devil card from the Steampunk Tarot. Can we take a moment to appreciate how cool the artwork is on this tarot? Oh my gosh. Like, dynamic. So let's move this over here. Again, the Devil card is about something that you have hitched yourself to that was not in your best interest, and now that it is time to get away from, you are not as trapped as you think. Let's get some runes down and see what it is that you can do about it. Yes, of course. Definitely. I think you're already on the way of not being hitched to this anymore. I think you're already there. Like, I think you've already made this decision, which is good. Which is good. I'm going to lay down the entire reading, and we're going to go from there. Just trying to make sure that the rune that wants to come out is coming out. Ooh, very good. I'm getting a lot of repeats in a lot of the same places or in comparable places, which is really good. Like, a lot of these are really good, heartening things that are going to give you, they're going to steer you right. Doopy-doopy-doo. There you go. There you go. Let's get started. So, your central issue on this rune spread, card number 3, people, is Fehu, which is the rune of wealth and worth. Fehu is not money. Fehu, it could be money, but Fehu is generally cattle. It's the things in your life that, as long as you take care of them, will keep your life feeling rich. Now, leading up to this, because this is your focus at this point, it's like, what is it in my life that I really need to take care of that's going to make my life feel worthy and rich? Because what I'd hitched myself to wasn't that. I thought it was, but I was not correct. Oops, I'm going to drag all of my ivy off. There we go. Leading up to this, we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. Drag my carnelian all the way over to the runes. It's the birch tree. It has to do with beginnings and birth. Reversed on the path line, you're back-burnering a beginning. And I think this was your beginning that you've begun. You were like, okay, I'm going to do this, and it's going to get me what I need to have, except it didn't. It just ended up making you serve it, and that wasn't in your best interest, and it made you exhausted, and you didn't have time for yourself, and it wasn't good. So you have already turned away from that. You've like, this was not a good beginning. Let's close that beginning. Let's stop that beginning and move forward and really think about what is important in my life. What in my life gives my life worth and makes me feel rich, because that's what I need to focus on, not that. What is going to help you? So we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice has to do with standstill and stillness, and it's the stillness through which clarity comes. So give yourself a moment. You've just gotten away from this furnace, and now you're like, your ears are still adjusting and your body is still adjusting to the lack of fiery heat. And you're like, okay, we're going to focus on what gives our life meaning and worth and richness, and we're just going to be still right now. And while we're recovering, we're going to get that clarity coming in. What isn't going to help is we have Kaunas reversed. Kaunas is the rune of the torch or the fire. It upright means something expanding, something that is opening out, something like a spark that goes into a blaze. Reversed, it tends to mean, in an upper line, it is honing of focus, but in a lower line, it's like removal of options, like diminishment of options. And I think that's basically like, there's a sense of you that when you let this go, because you didn't stupidly join onto this. This was a really good idea, you thought. And it was like, it made sense from like a mental standpoint and from like a logical standpoints. Like, if I do this, I'm going to get this and this and this. And now if I've cut myself loose from this, like, you know, I'm missing that. And I feel like I've reduced my options. It's kind of like if you got a really, like a job that paid you really well, but it was just awful. And it just it hurt your soul kind of thing. Like that you got a lot of money from it, but it was soul sucking and miserable, and it made you go against your values, and it was just awful. And you just basically like, I have to leave this, and it's going to make me less wealthy with money, but I can work anywhere that will get me enough money that it hopefully won't suck my soul out. So just, you have to do that. I mean, obviously, okay, jobs are hard to get, but you know what I'm talking about. It's basically the difference of that. So that kind of thing. So there is a sense of worry about that, where you're like, I'm letting this go, and there's things that were to do with this that made a lot of sense, but they didn't make sense at a soul level, and they didn't make me feel of worth. They actually made me feel less worthy of my life. So bring yourself back up to, if you start to worry about that, to Isa, which is, the stillness through which clarity comes. Give yourself that stillness. Let yourself get used to not having this over you and not having those strings attached to you, and be basically, I'm getting the clarity from it, and this is helping me solidify what it is that is of worth in my life that I need to preserve and expand. Your central rune of the entire reading, your middle rune, the rune that is pinning the reading, is Tivaz reversed. Tivaz is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god, and this has to do with taking care of duties and responsibilities. It's reversed on the path line, and so this is basically taking care of your own duties and responsibilities to yourself, which is really critical. This is probably going to be the thing that is the most important. That you're doing something that is taking care of what you need in the world and what is of value to you. So something that does uphold your values, that does uphold your core values, something that does make sure that your needs are tended to, that your duties to yourself are tended to, and that you're not neglecting that. You're not giving every single moment of your life and breath to this thing that doesn't care about you. So what is going to help you with that? We have Silvila, which is the rune of the sun. The sun is source energy and source, basically. So whatever it is when you are doing this, and then whatever it is that whenever you do it, whenever you access it, whenever you experience it, whenever you perform it, always energizes you, always nourishes you. So this could be making sure that you get out in nature. This could be listening to music. This could be creating something. This is not necessarily this thing you're going to do, but this is the thing that's going to help you do the thing that you're going to do, which hopefully will be a lot closer to your true core values and all that. And so keep that at hand. Whatever it is that's going to keep you energized and keep your morale up, keep that to hand, because that is what's going to help you as you take care of these duties to yourself and take care of your needs. What isn't going to help you is we have Nauthies. Is this Nauthies reversed? No, this is just Nauthies. So you are worried about the needs that you do have, and you're worried about what needs there are and what needs may arise. This is the rune of need. And it always means tend to your needs, but it's like in the lower line, it's a worry. So you're worried about what needs you do have. It may even be in that this is upright and this is reversed. As you take care of yourself, which is absolutely important, it's the whole make sure your oxygen mask is in place before attempting to assist another thing. This one's reversed, so it's taking care of you. This one's not, so it's like around you. You may be worried that while you're doing this, the things around you, the needs around you are going to be neglected and fall to the wayside, but they're not. They're really not. Especially since some of these are some of these, basically. Like, there's overlap here. If you start to worry about those, though, and you're worried about energy levels, just bring yourself back up to here, the Sovilo, where it's going to be the things that will always give you that energy, that will always boost your morale and give you nourishment so that you can take care of these and these as necessary. But if this is also pertaining to this that you left behind, like what about these needs that this either was taken care of or that I owed to this? Like, you don't owe this anything. To heck with them. So, but anyway, either way, this is the solution. Bring yourself back up to source energy, whatever source is for you, first of all, but also source energy where you can replenish yourself, where you can nourish yourself, and where you can boost yourself when you need to continue to have the energy to do these things. Your next step on the path line is Algiz reversed. Algiz is the rune of the elk, otherwise known as the moose, and reversed on the path line. Well, it always means protection and support. Reversed on the path line, it's standing up for yourself, protecting yourself, supporting yourself. And you definitely will be doing that. There's no question. Like, these are this, then this, then this. So you recognize your worth and you're looking at that. You're taking care of what you need to take care of. And it's like, yes, you can stand up and support yourself. You can protect yourself. You don't need this. What is going to help you the most with that is we have Manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. Your note in the song, where you feel the best sense of belonging, the most helpful, nourishing sense of belonging that goes along with the clarity and that goes along with your source energy. And now it's like you're surrounding yourself by situations and people who can meet you with joy, who resonate with you, who can harmonize with you. This is going to be critical for you being able to stand up and take care of yourself, is to have that sense of belonging where you don't feel like, because nobody belongs here. Nobody belongs here. Nobody. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to use like pianoware on you. But now you're in a situation where you're moving more along the lines of your core values and tapping into your source energy and taking care of yourself. This becomes much more important. These are your people. These are the right people to have around you. This is where you belong. Not in a you belong, but where you feel a sense of belonging that is good. What isn't going to help is we have dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. Yes, when you have to stand up and take care of yourself and you don't feel you have other support besides yourself, it can be overwhelming. And that's what dagas is saying. It's like there's so much all at once coming at you, and you may feel like it's too much. This is why you have this. This is why you have people with whom you belong, that you have that sense of belonging, that with whom you resonate. This is why you're turning to that, where you have that. Even if it's just emotionally, like so much, you can actually say, hey, I'm having a bit of a hard time, and then you get some support, even if it's just like, I am too, but I'm here to support you with that. It's like, we can get through this together kind of thing, our respective difficult times. But just having that, just having resonant souls with which to face in joy, or whatever happens to be what you're facing each other with. And that will help you support yourself even when things get overwhelming. That will definitely help. Along with the clarity and the things that always boost you whenever you access them. And what this is going to lead you to, the last rune on the spread, is Avaz, which is the rune of the horse. The horse has to do with movement and also spirit, and you are just hitting the ground, galloping. This is going to give you all the energy you need to just continue to gallop forward, leaving this further and farther behind. Like, just go. It was important that you did this, because otherwise you wouldn't have known. But now you know. And so you've built, by this point you will have built a life that is much more nourishing for you and much more supportive of you and much better for you. And you can just let your spirit carry you forward at great speed if wanted. Gallop, gallop. So that, card number 4, people, is your devil reading of the things that you are not as trapped as you think you are, and that you can throw those chains off, or piano wire, as the case may be, and just gallop away to something much better, something much more in your best interest. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.